Well, I need to welcome you back. We're still with the big story for today. We're taking a critical look at the state of the nation, looking at all that really transpired during the weekend is enough to build up what seems to be happening in the country at the moment, looking at that very probe instituted by no other person but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, insisting that not just the CBN but other government entities should be looked at and looking or taking a private investigator to do that. Not only that, we're also critically looking at that will happen on Wednesday, and that is a call by the NLC for a nationwide protest and strike, and also looking at what also transpired during the weekend and ECOWAS telling Niger make a different move now. But anyway, still with us right here and doing justice to it. I'm talking of no other person but Comrade Emeka Owokocha. Yeah, in case you missed all of that, that's what we really looked at. We first looked at especially the appointment of a new private or special investigator. I'm talking about Jim Obaze, to basically look at the books of the NNPC and also that of the CBN, but also we looked at other major that concerns the probe and what Nigerians' expectation will be at the end of that very probe. But anyway, that's what we had in the first half. But let's quickly go to the major again that happened during the weekend and also look at it. And talking about probe, I would want us to start there. Let's still talk about probe, and the NNPC is a part of it. The company just last week said it has grown its profit ratio to almost 183% in the last 4 years. Let's leave its profit, but look at, or rather talk about that pains Nigerians are now profiting from on account of the removal of the subsidy. Now, do you see this another economic policy of this administration as really too much for Nigerians to bear and breathe in at the moment?
The National Assembly, if they can mute it, that let Nigerians, poor Nigerians breathe. Do you know the implication of that? Even when they turn it to be a fun, because from their character and from their behavior, it doesn't seem that these guys are empathetic or these guys really understand truly what pain is. Because a man in pain does not have any business going to parties and start jamboreeing. They didn't see that because they are supposed to be, a representative of the ordinary Nigerian man in Okitipupa, the poor Nigerian man in Zungaru, the poor Nigerian man in Ihiala. They are supposed to be. So from their character, from their body language, you should be able to understand whether they are there for the people or they are there for their own personal aggrandizement. So coming to your question, let me tell you the truth. Nigerians are actually in a state of serious pain. The government don't even need me to come here to start telling them they know. You remove first subsidy, take your analysis. What was the cost of petrol before you removed it? 180 something or then about 200. And the thing is about 6-7. I understand that in some places it's 1,000. And if you go now, you go that petrol is virtually everything about Nigeria economy. If you touch petrol, you have touched the smallest man in Nigeria. The poorest man you are talking about, you have touched him. Today, you cannot access transportation with ease. Not even that. There are jobs, or the government, did a magic where jobs have been created. People have means of livelihood. Then, to face this harsh economy, you will say, okay, we have given something, okay, that is where we see it. We are still at the stage where we are even worse off. You are bringing another pain into it. The question I'm asking, Mr. Mike, is this. You are a president. You are a National Assembly member. You sit in your palatial home. Where you get your second meal, you don't even know. Everything about you is imported. Everything about you is more or less like a man living in heaven. And you are making a policy for the Nigerian man who is choked up in the dungeon, and you don't even feel his pains. You are not saying that remove fuel subsidy. And at the end of the day, you came up with beautiful explanation that you were bringing palliative that were not mentioned. You leave it as an open-ended thing. Palliative. Nigerians, distant Nigerians, we are believing that they have people, they have representatives, they have a president that should feel their pain. At the end of the day, you came out at the last point and announced, broadcasted, that you are giving a household 8,000 naira, and the National Assembly endorsed it with their gazelle. Mr. Mike, is that not a vicious cycle? For me, I see it as a kind of, issue plan with zeal to further hold the people down. Now, Mr. Mike, I will not end there.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, Mr. Mike, 8,000 naira for a household. If this statement could come from that office, if this statement could come from National Assembly, in your thinking, as a man who understands what life is, do you think you should expect anything from the government or from the people around the government going forward?
Emeka Bokocha, I'll rather also throw the question again to you. Now, let's look at this. When he removed or made that blanket statement on his inaugural day, many Nigerians hailed him on account of the removal of the subsidy.
Okay.
Now, my question is it that those Nigerians never knew what the implication of the removal of the subsidy is? Because 2 months down that very announcement, it looks as if the reality has now hit home. So my question still remains, when he removed it, many people came to hail him that yes, subsidy should go. And now they are the same people now that are coming to cry that, oh, we are in deep pains.
Good.
Should the subsidy not remain?
Good.
So is it that Nigerians were not really, they never understood what the removal meant, or is it the reality, the present hardship is now driving it home and making us look at it the way it should be?
Good.
That's my question.
Good. Let me tell you what happened. They said the media set the agenda. And the media tells you what to think about. The Nigerians, understood what the subsidy was about from literatures contained in the media. And the media had never taken time to explain the other part of it, telling Nigerians what this subsidy stands for or against. Because it is a national policy across the globe. There is no country in this world that does not subsidize one commodity or the other for its citizenry. I'm only making one commodity. Like in the States of America, America subsidizes almost everything, and not even only that. There is a social security policy that still put money in the pockets of the citizens. Now what I'm saying is, I'm coming now to you. The Nigerians you are talking about, Nigerians are not reading public. The real Nigerians that are clamoring, let subsidy be removed. The question you will ask is that, was subsidy not a good policy? If yes, it is. Will we not buy fuel at 180, 200? Yes, we will buy. Will we not enjoy, will we not live our lives moderately? Yes, we will. Good. Is the government not supposed to run the economy in such a way that you will, with your 30,000 naira, you could buy food and take care of your household? I'm asking you. Good. Now, you say remove subsidy because they do not really understand. They only tend to project the corruption in the subsidy. If there is a corruption in the subsidy, the onus lies on the government to do what? To kill the corruption in the subsidy. Allow the good policy to do what? To run. Because what informed the subsidy from the first instance is as a result of the incompetence within the government sector for failing, for not having the political will to make our refineries work, Mr. Mike. How can Nigeria, out of the countries that make up OPEC, we are the only country that imports 95% of petroleum products from abroad? Is that not a shame? It's a slap on our face. Now, incompetence have always been advertised before Nigerians by our leaders that they cannot run the refineries, they cannot operate our economy, they cannot take us to the promised land, and we are aware of that. That is the reason they have to bring in subsidy in the petroleum sector, knowing that it's a critical sector of the economy, that anything that touches it, touches the commonest man. That Nigeria does not have any reason whatsoever to sell petroleum products, petrol, at 600 naira a liter for the common Nigerians when we have crude oil in our the
so current,
there is no explanation.
The current situation in Niger and other neighboring countries will also be attributed to that very policy. Many will attribute it because of the hardship. Those in Niger are presently going on account of even the subsidy removed in Nigeria. So was there no way we could have really dealt with it, looking that we could not pay for the full West African region in subsidizing their economic product? Is it not a blanket decision that ought to have come, irrespective of whether it has more to hit Nigerians or not? That is my first question. And my second question is, which I will still bring to your notice, is let's look at the policy itself. Many will say it has gone and gone forever. But many Nigerians will say the anger now being experienced by Nigerians is not just even the subsidy removal, but the lack of knowledge of what that money is that will be removed from the subsidy will be used for. And you talked about the palliative. When the palliative was announced, some Nigerians hailed it. But it only took a nosedive when we also heard that 70 billion will be given to the National Assembly on account of allowances for their working standard and 40 billion on account of their new SUVs. Then Nigerians knew that it looks as if the sacrifice is not for others. And hence, they rejected the palliative in the first instance. So would you not look at all of this as a direct reason why the anger persists and not just only the present hardship that is being associated on account of the removal?
Let us take the issue of Niger. The removal of subsidy in Nigeria may have caused untold hardship to Nigerians because our fuel is being taken away from
no other country that takes the fuel other than Niger and Benin Republic.
We are saying, sir, who do you blame? This is a country manned by Nigerians. If the people you put at the border are sabotaging national policies, what do you do? If the people you put at the border that are supposed to be government agencies to secure your border are the ones creating the loopholes, what do you do? Would you come and blame me, or I still blame the man at the helm? Because see, when you were taking the oath, could you play the oath he took, the president took, at the point of being installed at the president of this country, for God's sake? We have given you a responsibility to run this country as a sovereignty. At the end of the day, you are abdicating your services. You are now telling me you lack the competence. Why would you not allow other nations to come over around Nigeria? And you should open your borders allow them to come around Nigeria. The question is, whatever that happens, either because our fuel is being, not illegally exported through our borders. Who do you blame? You blame the government. Because you lack the capacity to secure your borders. See, when we make you a president, see, we have handed our life to you. Run our affairs. Let us go home and sleep. Run this for us. They don't kill us. So if you fail, all the failures points back to you because you have failed to deliver governance as we expected, as it is captured in that oath you took on that day.
Now, the NLC has called for a total shutdown of the country on Wednesday. And I want your reactions to that. And also, are they not going to, at the last minute, backtrack as they did in June? Because that's another critical thing we need to talk about on account of this. They told Nigerians during the weekend to stockpile food, medicines, and other essentials, because they are going to shut down almost everywhere on account of their disapproval with the removal. This is not the first time we're hearing that. In June, when they now came up and opened a committee between themselves and government on account of palliative, they backtracked and, they just went to sleep, like many Nigerians would say. So I want a reaction concerning the NLC and their proposed strike on Wednesday. And are we going to have any, and I mean any, major gains on account of that?
There should be gains, but Joe Ajaero and his team, right from onset, had set a very wrong pedestal.
On how? On what ground?
Let me tell you, you did mention June here. Now, when the government mooted removal of subsidy, see, people that are appointed into sensitive offices like the NLC are expected to be real Nigerians that are proactive. Real Nigerians that can see beyond the ordinary. Real Nigerians that have the interest of the people at heart, because those offices are so sensitive to be left in the hands of people who could mortgage the essence of that office. For instance, were you happy Were Nigerians happy the manner Joe Ajaero and his team handled the negotiations?
But they went to court. The federal government went to court and put a stop to that strike.
He went to court. He went to court. Why are they coming up now to say they want to go on strike? What court? Court. Is the court not averse with the development in this country? If they say to court, what stops Ajaero
for appealing
it? What I'm saying, Mike, listen and listen carefully. What we are talking about here is about issues that concern the commonest man.
So is that what the civil organization has against the NSC on account of this strike?
Coming up now. What has he seen now that he didn't see in June? We expected him to act in the manner he should have acted. And we expected him to stand in the gap for the commonest Nigerian. But they bungled that opportunity. Now, look at what they are now saying. That they are protesting the hike in the fuel and removal of subsidy. That it has brought untold hardship on Nigerians. Didn't they know that it was going to bring? They believed, or rather they pandered to the sentiment, they pandered woolly to the sentiment of the government when they went in for that negotiation without looking at issues dispassionately and seeing the antics of the government. They refused to see the antics because we saw the antics from behind and we told them that when you are eating with the devil, you must hold a very, very long stick.
Well, anyway.
So whatever the situation
no name calling here.
Devil could be me and you.
Well, anyway.
What I'm saying, devil could be you and us. To a very large extent, we still have good devils. So what I'm saying is that Ajaero should know that at that particular time, he should have known that the interest of the public overrides personal interest. And the essence of governance is to ensure the welfare and the security of the citizen. In other words, if he rises on that pedestal, Nigerians will applaud him because that is exactly what we expect governors to do. But they didn't do that. I don't know the kind of stories government told them, and they believe the government, assuming the government told them, we have a lot of palliative to give to the citizens. Did the government mention it? No, it is obvious, it is glaring that what the government had told them, the promises, had been proven to be 8,000 naira for a household. So at the end of the day now, are you now telling Ajaero that he acted right? Rather, he had put himself before Nigerians as some persons Nigerians cannot vouch for. Yes, because he bungled that opportunity. Now that he's doing this now, he ought to have done that in June. And that would have earned him a lot of accolade. And it would have been more meaningful to Nigerians and even to the NSC and the Trade Union Congress. But they didn't do that. I don't know what the government told them. You know, the government can be so tricky. The government can deploy every gimmick, to cajole you. And once you go there with sentiment, Mr. Mike, I'm telling you, will come back the same. So that was what happened. Now we are waiting for them that they'll come again now to be telling us now that they have won the gap again. They have actually won the gap. They are now the true people now who can say we'll have to hold the government at the jugular and ensure they do the right thing. Because Labour, by the formation of Labour, is to stand for the common man. That is the reason of Labour. Their fighting is not just because they are government officials, but because they have to stand in for the people. So and ensure
do you see them backpedaling? Do you see them taking a different turn at the very dying minute? Do you see that happening?
They might not take a different turn now because Nigerians are going to follow them bumper to bumper. Like I, for instance, now, if I had the opportunity to be in Abuja, I will hold Ajaero at the tail of his suit or wherever, ensuring that he does not, subvert the system again, because Nigerians hold these, offices in high esteem. If you recall, when Labour Congress was Labour Congress, in the lives of the Somalis, even when he was not a saint, but you could see how he was able to restore the government during Obasanjo. There are a lot of policies that Obasanjo was bringing, which Somalia stood and reversed, and the credit goes to him, even till tomorrow. So what that vibrancy to be in the Labour, not what we are seeing currently. Okay. Ajaero must ensure that he returned.
What I'm seeing presently is my PD is telling me we need to go on a break. So we need to do that. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at the state of the nation. And don't forget, well, it looks as if the ECOWAS region are getting prepared for another. And the another is, well, they want to take a stand when it comes to democracy. And that is what is happening in Niger. Let's go on a break.